All right, guys, this is the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you at sunset. You guys see this coming through the window. Sunset. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, guys, I want to talk to you about what's been going on for this past, like week or so. Unfortunately, with the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk, we've seen things really accelerate in terms of the way we're supposed to be feeling, how we're supposed to process this. And they keep throwing things at us so fast that I don't even think that we have even enough time to process exactly what we're supposed to get from this, aside from what should be the obvious reaction, which is to wish him rest in peace and, of course, condolences to his family. But even that has turned out to be something of a challenge for a lot of us. But one of the things that I want to talk about here that I felt was notable, and I just wanted to wait for a minute just to see how this whole thing played out, would be the whole Jimmy Kimmel tie-in. Yeah, the Jimmy Kimmel tie-in. Now, I know a lot of people rushed to report on this and talk about it, but I've always believed that the real relevant story of a matter comes maybe a few days after, especially when you talk about these political hot button topics and things like that. And I knew there had to be something probably more to it, or, like I said, what it was really about had yet to rear its ugly head. But one thing I knew for sure is that this thing couldn't have been really about Jimmy Kimmel. Bro, nobody cares about Jimmy Kimmel, and nobody less than me. I cannot stand Jimmy Kimmel. I've had an axe to grind with him ever since the whole COVID thing. And he went on TV talking about how he wished that people who didn't take the shot would die. I have no use whatsoever for Jimmy Kimmel. But of course, we're in America, so there's this whole freedom of speech thing. As long as other people want to see him, then he's going to be seen. There's a lot of things on TV or movies or whatever that I don't like, but there it is. However, in this case, they tried to act like they were going to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air because of some insensitive remarks that he made about Charlie Kirk. Like I said, he said just as bad or worse over the years, and nobody talked about this. So why now? You know what I mean? But anyway, that is what was going on. And of course, it sparked up this whole debate about the First Amendment and yada, yada, yada. But like I said, I kind of hung back and didn't really want to get into this. But anyway, we got word today that after the announcement was made that Jimmy Kimmel would be taken off the air, mere days later, we have another announcement. Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air on Tuesday. Disney says, let me get rid of Mini-Me here. Okay. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air on Tuesday. As I'm recording this, it is a Monday. So we're talking about tomorrow. He'll be back in the air. Yeah, that didn't last long. So let's see what's being said here, guys. And honestly, look at them putting him up here like he's some type of patriot or something. He's a piece of shit. But anyway, less than 1 week after it was taken off the air under pressure from the Trump administration, more on that, Jimmy Kimmel Live will return to late night on Tuesday. ABC parent company Disney confirmed. Bro, who is there anybody out here who's surprised by this? Is there anybody out here who really thought that this idiot was in danger of being taken off the air? I swear to you guys, one day you're going to look back on my videos and you're going to understand that, God damn it, I told the truth all the way through, bro. It's nothing but a psyop. It's nothing but a trap. It's a trap, guys, to make us think that we're in control of something. But honestly, we just took the bait. Now, let me just say this right up front, guys. I'm no big knowledgeable person about Charlie Kirk. I just recently started getting a little bit more turned on to the things he was saying and, listening to him more in context, by the way. And if I'm understanding Mr. Kirk correctly, I don't think I'm out on a limb by saying that Charlie Kirk did not stand for censorship. I mean, right or wrong, get in the comment section, let me know. If I'm understanding Charlie Kirk correctly, I think he would be more likely to challenge Jimmy Kimmel on his show. And yeah, I think he would contact him and if he was really in a mind to, he would sit down with him and kind of hash out what the differences are, show Jimmy Kimmel why he's wrong, things like that. But to actually just want him to be taken off the air, I don't think that Charlie Kirk would have wanted that. And I think that a lot of Charlie Kirk's followers have been duped into calling for such a thing so that when the left does it, they'll be like, well, you know better. And I guess it was kind of proved. Now, I know that I'm going to piss off a lot of people with some of the things that I'm saying, but I got to call it how I see it, guys. And I just see that we kind of fell for the trap in this case, right? Because honestly, why should you call for anyone to be censored? Let them do what they do. Honestly, I would prefer that the American people vote Jimmy Kimmel off the air by simply not watching his unfunny ass. You know what I mean? That's what I would rather see rather than have Trump or anybody else. I don't want to see the government call for the silencing of anybody. That should be in the people's hands. If the people don't like what Jimmy Kimmel or The View or anybody else has to say, then it should be represented through the numbers. You know what I mean? Just like with the president, people don't like Donald Trump. Well, a hell of a lot of people did because the majority voted for him. You know what I'm saying? So the people should have that final voice, right? But anyway, let's go on. Disney pulled the comedian's show last Wednesday after Brenda Carr, chair of the Federal Communications Commission, condemned Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. The comments in question for Kimmel are as follows. We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang, desperately trying to categorize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Bro, like I said, of all the hills you want to die on, that would be it. Let the facts speak for themselves. Who cares what a clown has to say? Like how that turned into, let's get him off the air. I don't know, guys. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I am no Jimmy Kimmel fan, but I just don't see how this turned into a big deal. Carr threatened Disney and ABC's affiliates that carry Kimmel's show, encouraging stations to preempt the late night program. Nexstar, which owns stations across the country and needs FCC approval for a multi-billion-dollar merger with the media company Tegna, quickly pulled the program. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show and to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. Disney explained in a statement provided to NPR. The company cited concerns that some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. Yeah, okay, but you got these people all over the internet who are laughing at the death of Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? Um, are we really that sensitive? Honestly, guys? You know, bro, it just baffles me. All right, so it says after engaging in thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, Disney stated that they have decided to resume production of the show. All right, so listen, guys, like I said before, this comes as no surprise. Earlier, I was on X, and actually, let me just see, September 18th. This is something that I wrote when I first heard about this, right? I wasn't impressed from the very beginning. I said on Twitter, I said, has anyone seen any politicians or media moguls being held responsible or accountable for their lies and divisive rhetoric? Or is it just a few low-level celebrities and everyday ignorant people? These are sacrificial lambs. The psyop is real. Okay? Because I'm saying, right, of all of people that you're going to hold accountable for saying insensitive things about Charlie Kirk, you're going to go for Jimmy fucking Kimmel? Like, dude, you have Jasmine Crockett, you have all of these politicians, like I said, media people who are running these TV stations, all of them are saying these things. You have all of these nuts online who are talking. You got Montel Williams talking about you have to understand the shooter. He was being emotional. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, bro. But you're going to go for Jimmy Kimmel. I knew then it was bullshit. And then on top of everything else, you have 400 celebrities who have signed an open letter to publicly condemn the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel and the attack on free speech. Now listen to these names, guys, and you tell me. Celebrities who signed this open letter, publicly condemning the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel include Adam Scott, Bryan Cranston, Florence Pugh, Pedro Pascal, Jennifer Aniston, Meryl Streep, Jason Bateman, Rainn Wilson, Robert De Niro, Jane Fonda, Selena Gomez, Noah Wilde, Al Yankovic, Katie O'Brien, Tom Hanks, Eben Moss Bachrach, Michael Shannon, Jonathan Groff, Hank Azaria, Kristen Dunst, Olivia Rodrigo, Ben Stiller, Mark Ruffalo. I mean, bro, it's the usuals. You know what I mean? When you see these names, you know what side to be on, right? So you see all of these people, the usual people, and you never heard any of these people say not even a peep, especially Pedro Pascal, when Gina Carano got in trouble. You know, what happened to the First Amendment then? Kanye West, what happened to the First Amendment then? This isn't about liking what you hear. It isn't about were they out of line. But at the end of the day, it is a matter of free speech, even if we don't like it. So it's interesting to me what they choose to do a 400 celebrity open letter for and what they choose not to. This is how you know it's full of crap, guys, because it only goes one way. You have to be in that American Society of Magical Liberals. You have to be part of the big club that you ain't a part of. You know, big shout out to George Carlin. He talked about that ages ago. But that's what it is, guys. They don't care. They don't care about any of this. It's all just one big game that they play. They never had any intention of taking this guy off the air. They just wanted to trap people on the right or even the middle into being an advocate for this so that when they do it, and they're good for doing it, the whole cancel thing, they can say, well, you're just as bad as us. You did the same thing. You called for the canceling of Jimmy Kimmel. You went on a witch hunt for the last week for everybody who said anything bad about Charlie Kirk online. You know, we went after them, or you guys went after them. You know, I didn't go after anybody, so I can't say we, but those of you who did. I just sat back last week and just watched. Y'all look like Benny Hill, like chasing people this way, chasing people that way, chasing people this way. He said this about Charlie Kirk. Go get him. He said this about Charlie Kirk. You know what to do, guys. Cancel culture. That's all that was. These guys can't do anything to Charlie Kirk. He's gone on to his maker. So why would you do this? These are just words. I don't like it either. I did a video talking about it. I don't like when people make fun of dead people. I don't care if it's Charlie Kirk. I don't care if it's George Floyd. Yeah, I said it. You guys know where I stand on that. It doesn't matter what they did in their lives. What matters is that they're dead and they've gone on to their creator. And only their creator knows who they are in front of people and not in front of people. You know, so you can say, oh, it's not the same. Yeah, it is the same in the eyes of God. Unless I got it backwards, only God can judge a soul. All right. So when Erica Kirk got on TV and said that she forgives the killer of her husband, of Charlie Kirk, as terrible as that was, she said she forgive him. My thing is, will anybody forgive the what's his name? What was it? The Carlos Brown, you know, who took out the poor girl from Ukraine? Will anybody forgive that? I'm not saying that they should be exempt from the crime. They should pay for the crime. Both of them should get the death penalty, as far as I'm concerned. But if you forgive anybody, then you should be able to forgive everybody. We're talking about a spirit of forgiveness in this country. It's a new age. It's a godly age. So if you can't forgive everybody, you can't forgive anybody. And that's all I'm saying. If we're going to run with this spirit of forgiveness, this is what I'm talking about. All right. So I know, you know, it will piss people off, you know, to hear me say that because of the way that we perceive the life of George Floyd. He's not the same as Charlie Kirk in the way he lived his life. He is the same as Charlie Kirk, as in he's dead and his soul has gone on to divine judgment. I don't believe in laughing at dead people. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they stood for. I don't care what they said. I don't care if they were a racist. And let's get this this straight right here. I don't for 1 millisecond believe that Charlie Kirk was a racist. I don't believe he was a transphobe. I don't believe he was a homophobe. I don't believe he was a sexist. I don't believe any of that. And you know why? Because I actually listened to the man. I put his words in context, unlike a lot of you out there who are just following behind your favorite pundit, waiting for them to spoon feed you what to be mad about next. He wasn't a perfect man. I didn't have to agree with him about everything. Some of the things he said might have been insensitive. But guess what? That's the reason why he sat under a tarp that said, "Prove me wrong." It didn't say, "Shoot me." It didn't say, "Kill me." It said, "Prove me wrong." And when you kill somebody, it means you could not prove them wrong. You were just interested in having them shut up. And we're in a dangerous place, each and every one of us in this country, when that is the philosophy that we adhere to. We're supposed to embrace the exchange of ideas and philosophies. It's the only way that we get better in this country, when we challenge each other. But no, that's not what it is. Now we've fallen into this. He said that. How dare they say this? And we're doing it on both sides. I don't give a damn about Jimmy Kimmel. I don't give a damn about Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert. They can all kiss my ass. I don't care about any of them. But at the same time, bro, I am not going to get roped into calling for people to be silenced, anyone to be silenced in this country. This is America. All right. That's how I feel about it. All right. So yeah, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air tomorrow. Like, come on, bro. Like anyone didn't see that. Like anyone, like, wake up. Wake up. Stop being so easy to manipulate. I wish people would. Being manipulated into hate all the time, being manipulated into this whole black or white thing. We were past this, guys. I wish I could just hold people and shake them to wake them up on both sides, on both sides. But this is what social media is. This is the big experiment. And the least I can do is talk about the way that I see it. Now, you can get in the comment section and you can disagree with me, because that's your right. You can downvote the video because that's your right. But if you find yourself hating me, you find yourself resenting me. I've had people unsub from me. You know, every now and then I have somebody come into the comment section. "I wish I could wake you up, Mark. You're lost. You need to get help." Because I disagree with you, bro. Honestly. But this is where we are, guys. And as you can see, I talked to you guys about this before. I have chosen to demonetize my own video or videos, because I see what people are doing out here, man. I see the manipulation. You know, I see what's happening on this platform right here. I just want to be able to speak my mind. So when I close my eyes for the last time, somebody can say, he wasn't afraid to speak the truth as he saw it. He wasn't speaking in some damn code words. I don't say unalived. I don't say all of that bullshit that people say. 10 years from now, no one's going to know what the hell you was talking about, because he was talking in code. And in the meantime, we're talking about, I got free speech. Well, you don't act like it. Anyway, guys, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you remain subscribed. I will have a Cash App link in the pinned comment below. So if you care to, by all means. All right, guys, that's it. You can get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about all of this. I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.